Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we will be building the core part of our web crawler, and that part is going to be the spider. So the spider is nothing but it's actually a crawler which is going to visit the first given link. It is going to extract links from that particular web page and it's actually going to store it into the queue.txt file. So what we are going to do is that we are actually going to make our code multi-threaded. That is basically, instead of just having one spider at a time, what we are going to do is that we are going to launch multiple spiders so that each spider is actually going to crawl a new URL. So that's what we are going to do. So let's directly go ahead and jump into the lecture. So the first thing which you need to do is that you actually need to create a brand new Python file. So simply go to this folder right here, create a new Python file, name it as spider, and in here the first thing which you need to do is that you need to import a URL open, because you obviously need to open up a particular URL. So what you do is that you type from URL lib dot request import URL open, not URL join, that should be URL open. And then what you do is that you also import the link finder class from the linkfinder.py file. So you type from link finder import link finder. So once you do that, you also need to import everything from the demo file as well. So you type from demo import star. Okay, so once this thing is done, what you need to do is that you need to create a spider class similar to the link finder class which we have created in the link finder file. So let's create a class and let's call it as spider. And what we are going to do is that we are actually going to create a few set of variables which are going to be stored along all instances of the spider. So essentially we will be launching multiple spiders. So let's say we are launching 8 spiders at a time, and those spiders are actually going to share a bunch of information, because what we need to make sure that as 8 spiders are working simultaneously, that means all the 8 spiders should not visit the same URL. So they actually need to communicate with each other. Henceforth, they must share some kind of data. So now let's go ahead and create some class variables which is going to contain the information which is going to be shared between those spiders. So the first piece of information which we need is obviously going to be the project name. So I'm going to type in project underscore name. So initially this is going to be empty. Okay, so once we have the project name, the next thing which we need is going to be the base URL. So the base URL is the URL which actually is the first URL which the spider visits. So we also need the base URL with us. So we type base underscore URL, and that is also going to be empty at first. Then after this we are going to have the domain name, and the reason why we are going to have a domain name is because we only want to visit all the links from a one website, and we don't want to visit links which basically belong to other websites. So what we are going to do is that we are always going to compare the domain name of a particular link, and if that domain name is same as the domain name of our website, that is nothing but the base URL, only then we are actually going to crawl that particular page. So let's make a variable for domain name. So we type domain underscore name, and also this is going to be empty at first. Then we are actually going to make variables for the queue files and the crawled files. So let's type in queue UE underscore files, or let's say file, and this is also going to be empty. And let's create one for the crawled files. So this is going to be crawled underscore files. Okay, so once we have this thing, the next thing which we are going to do is that we also need to create 2 sets. One is going to be for the queue and next one is going to be for crawled. So let's type in queue equals set. So this is going to create a new set which is going to be called as queue. And now let's go ahead and also create a set for crawled as well. So we are going to type in crawled equals set. So once we have these things, we are pretty much good to go. Now the only thing which we need to do is that we actually need to go ahead and have our init function over here. So I'm going to go right here and define the init function over here by typing init. and we are actually going to initialize all these variables in the init function, but let's do that in the next lecture because this lecture is becoming a bit longer. So the reason for having this data right here is that this data is going to be shared between multiple instances of this spider class right here. So that's the reason we have these things over here. And in the next lecture, what we are going to do is that we are going to basically initialize all these instance variables in this init function right here. So that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.